Shalom, brothers and sisters. Grace, mercy, and peace be unto you from Yahuwah, that is our Father, and Yahusha. He is the Messiah, the one that carries the burden of Yah, his voice, our high priest, soon coming King. Hear, O Yesharo, Yahuwah, who is our mighty one. He is one. There is no other mighty one in existence than Yahuwah, and Yahusha is his voice. This is Brother Dawood coming to you again to bring you Shamut. You would say Exodus. This is part 7. Listen to the statement. Let us keep the feast. What feast? The Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Where did you find this statement? In the New Testament? When I first came to church, they told me, we don't keep Passover. We keep Resurrection Sunday. In other words, Easter. But I saw clearly in the book that we are commanded to keep the Passover. We are to walk as the Messiah walked. He kept the Passover. Why don't they? Doctrinal principles. I tell you the truth. Whoever teaches you can either influence you to righteousness or wickedness. Now, this video is for your family members because they're not used to hearing that they have to keep Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Let me show you. 1 Corinthians chapter 5, 6-8. 6. Your glorying is not good. Look how he started out speaking. You glorying in your transgression of the law, not keeping the feast and teaching others not to do so, is not good. Who's speaking? Shaul, the one you call Paul. Know you not that a little leaven leavens the whole lump? If one of you begins to say that you don't have to keep the feast, you will cause others to stumble. 7. Purge out therefore the old leaven. Clean the leaven out of your houses. Isn't that what we have to do every year? That you may be a new lump, as you are unleavened. No leaven is to be found in your houses for 7 days. For indeed, Christ is the replacement for the Messiah. Let's read it again. For indeed, the Messiah, our Passover, is sacrificed for us. Look at the word sacrificed. Why did they put this here? Why did they use this? They're trying to say that their Christ, his blood, atoned for the sins of the whole world. There's no such doctrine in this book. It was created by the Gentiles. Look, the KJV translates Strong's G 2380 in the following manner. Kill. Why didn't they put kill for us here? Sacrifice 3 times. Do sacrifice 2 times. Slay 1 time. Why didn't they put slay? That he was slain for us. Look at the word I would have used. Murdered. Is that contextual? Is that what happened? He was beaten to a pulp. He was tortured. Then he was hung on a tree, stabbed in the side. He was murdered. Has nothing to do with sacrifice. You see, they're trying to bring a doctrinal principle of the church into the text, and the doctrinal principle of the church is that there was a human sacrifice. There is no human sacrifice accepted by Yahuwah for the atonement of sins. 8. Therefore, let us is a pronoun. It describes persons, places, or things. Who is he speaking to? The children of Yesharo. Let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. There's your word for your family members. They have to keep the feast. Okay, so Shaul is saying this. Let's see what the Mashaya has to say. Matat Yahu, chapter 5, verse 17 to 20. 17. Think not, don't put it in your mind, that I am come to destroy the law. Who's speaking? Yahushua HaMashiach. He just destroyed the doctrinal principle of the church. They said their Christ is the end of the law. Yahushua HaMashiach said he did not come to destroy the law. It's still in effect. Or the prophets. Why did he say the prophets? Because the prophets told you to return to the law. I am not come to destroy. Destroy what? The law. But to fulfill. Fulfill what? The law. How? As your high priest. That is his purpose. He gave himself up to go into the heavens, to make the atonement on your behalf, to sprinkle the blood with his finger 7 times before the mercy seat and 7 times on the mercy seat, so that you can have forgiveness of sin. And the definition of sin is transgression of the law. He is in the tabernacle in heavens, the one not made with hands. He's making all of the pertinent sacrifices on the new moons, the Shabbats, and on the feast days. He has 12,000 of the tribe of Levi, you would call them, in the heavens to assist him. 18. Listen to what he's going to say. For verily, I say unto you, who's speaking again? The Mashaya. Till heaven and earth pass. Has heaven and earth passed? If it hasn't, you still have to keep the feast. 1 jot or 1 tittle shall in no wise, that's no way, pass from the law till all be fulfilled. Has all been fulfilled? Has he come back to gather his people? Is he ruling the earth with an iron rod? Have you seen him? Has the 1,000-year reign began or ended? Has that great city come down from the heavens, the new Yerushalayim? All is not fulfilled. Guess what? You still have to keep the feast. This transgression will blot you out from the kingdom. 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of the least of these commandments. He's speaking of the small ones that don't lead to death, and shall teach men to do the same. He shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, that same person shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. I think it's time for you to start teaching the law, teaching righteousness, bidding your family members, come home. It's right here. Show them this video so that they can see, even in the New Testament, Shaul tells you to keep the feast. Yahushua HaMashiach kept the feast. He told you, walk as I walk. 20. For I say unto you that except your righteousness, what is righteousness? Keeping divine law shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees, who were not keeping divine law. You shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. Can I tell you something? When I was in the church, this was my first sermon. Matthew chapter 5, 17 to 20. Brought the house down. People were throwing money at me. I started out teaching the law. Look where I am today, 30 years later. Brothers and sisters, join us on Yahuwah's Passover and Feast of Unleavened Bread. The date, 1/15/2025 in the evening. I made a mistake in the last video. I think I put 2024, but it's 2025, 1/15. Some people say, well, how is it all the way in January? Well, this is the way that the moon works. It falls behind 10 days every year. We did not add to, nor did we take away from the book of the law. We're following the law exactly. Tell me something. Is that transgression? What if you alter the law and bring it back to an equinox on some fictitious calendar created by Pope Gregory? Is that transgression? Yes. He said you do not add to or take away from this book of the law. We didn't. We have Yah's pure time, just the way he wanted you to read it in the heavens. Shalom.